All right, we are live. Okay. Hey, what do I got? There we go. All right. Welcome everybody. Oh, I should record this. Record this. The cloud. All right, everybody. Hey, hello everyone. Hello everyone. My name is Earl Mann, and if you don't know me, I am a former military officer, Marine hoorah, turned high-tech entrepreneur, and I've been in the high-tech startup world for a couple of decades. And I've always had an affinity for the idea of a side hustle, partly because it was a side hustle that got me out of corporate America in the first place and got me down my path of being an entrepreneur. It was the funding mechanism for that. But what I thought I'd do, I had a really cool idea, I think. I was explaining to somebody why I chose this side hustle now during COVID. I just a handful of weeks in, and they asked me, well, what were some of the fundamental reasons I chose this as my side hustle? And as I started to go through, explain it to them, I thought, you know what I should do? I should just put some structure around it, record it, and that way I won't have to retell, explain it over and over and over again, because a lot of people are starting to realize that there's something going on. And I like leverage and I like efficiency. So here we're going to go. This is going to be a hack presentation of why I chose Velavita as my side hustle. Now, what I mean by hack presentation is, and I'm not going to give you the full-blown presentation because we have awesome people that do a much better job at doing that than me. What I'm going to do is quickly run through the presentation and highlight what mattered to me about the point they're making at that point in the presentation. Kind of like the what's in it for me, the takeaway, right? Because presentation is awesome, but when people ask me why I made the decision to run with this company, especially now, especially as busy as I am with multiple businesses and things on my plate, I wanted to tell you when I saw the presentation, kind of what it meant to me, somebody that has experience and has a structured approach to some type of evaluation. So, not that my evaluation is the best way to do it, but I'm going to share with you what made what made it work for me. Maybe that'll give you some insight. So, first of all, so really remember, I'm going to invite you to take very few notes. But the first thing I'm going to ask you to do right now is write down the word love it, Lovit. Love it, or if you think you have a photographic memory, boom, put it in that memory bank. A mentor once told me that the worst pencil is better than the best memory. Just saying. So write down the word love it. So we're going to come back to that. But the company Velavita, if you look at the name, the name embodies what the whole spirit of the Velavita movement is all about. It's two words combined to make a combined movement. It's velocity and life. Velo for velocity, Vita for life. So we're all about the velocity of life. But in the center of the velocity for life is that thing around which you love. What do you love? You're going to hear us talk about this idea of pursuing your passion. We're going to hear us talk quite often about aligning yourself with the things that you love. It is central and core to what this company is all about. And if you know anything about me, then you already know why this company jumped out to me. When they go through the presentation, they're going to remind you that, hey, this is a real business. It's not like some type of, crazy scheme, money for nothing, get rich quick thing. It's a real business with real products to serve, which means it requires real work to make it work. But we have a systematic way of doing that. So you're going to hear about the founders, and the takeaway from the founders is you're going to hear from Kasgari. You're going to hear about the takeaway I got from him. You're going to hear in detail on a real presentation all about his background. But what meant the most to me was that our senior leadership came from the field side of this business. They weren't some corporate guy with a lot of money that's just trying to take advantage of some market opportunity. These are people that at one time joined an organization from the beginning with nobody around them and nobody on their team. And in the case of Costa, he grew an organization of over 1 million people over the years, and a $500 million in sales. So that's pretty impressive. Our other co-founder and president also comes from the field. So the two senior people leading the movement are people that spent their entire careers in the field doing what we will do on a daily basis as representatives with this company, as ambassadors with this company. So who is this company? The company is based in Florida. They're 100% debt free. To take away from this is they don't owe anybody anything. Everything is in house. So one of the what one of the thing I see quite often out there is you'll see a company and their whole product is made by somebody else that customizes it for this company or white label it for this company for some company, and then they go out and take that to market. That can be problematic over time, especially if it becomes really, really popular because the company marketing the product doesn't actually own or make the product, which means there can always be a disconnect, a disruption. So it's the fact that this company owns everything in house is huge. Um, the market we're in is one that I'm very familiar with. It's in the industry called nootropics. Nootropics are supplements and nutrients designed to enhance your brain ability. So very, very quick story. I started on, I became a fan of nootropics about 4.5 years ago, completely by accident. I'm really into fitness and challenges myself physically and trying to stay in the best shape of my life. And I kind of do this body challenge once a year. And anyway, long story short, I came across a product that was supposed to be designed to help you recover fast. And they had some nootropic ingredients in there. They didn't, this was before the whole nootropic was a thing. And I was on this product and I realized that I felt completely different. It wasn't like coffee, it wasn't that type of energy, it was something completely different. And that product was kind of in a test case scenario. And so that sent me on the hunt for trying to put it together myself. Then I did a lot of research and I realized that, wow, there's a lot of money and research behind enhancing cognitive ability. A lot of wealthy people, a lot of people with resources and means are trying to find a way to get that mental edge because that mental edge is what's going to make the biggest difference in the world. So that industry of nootropics is exploding right now. Here's the takeaway. Here's the thing that should make the light bulb go off for you right now. If I were to ask you and the 10 people you knew and the 10 people that they all knew to 100 people, what was the brand leader in nootropics in America in 2020? Most people would not even have a company. They wouldn't even know who was in the running, which means the brand ownership is wide open. We will have a multiple brand leaders, just like any other industry. Like if I were to ask you, who's a brand leader in coffee? Some of you might say Starbucks. Some of you might say Pete's Coffee or whatever. If I were to ask you who's the brand leader in energy drinks, some of you might say Monster. Some of you might say 5 Hour Energy. Some people would have answers to that. But nootropics is wide open, which means we're in a race to build a brand, a race to build a brand. And the brand ownership, brand dominant companies are worth billions and billions and billions of dollars. In fact, what makes them worth most over time is the brand and how much it resonates. So the product that this company is bringing to market, they're going to tell you all about it, but it is a nootropic called Brain Reimagine. It's unbelievable. The testimonies we're getting from people that try this product are just, they're all over the board. You're hearing everything from it suppresses appetite, they feel great. They have this hard to describe thing called mental energy. People are sleeping better, but it's not just a simple product. It's a very complex product. It has 3 stages that people tend to feel. The first is the alpha stage. A lot of people call it the lights on stage. It's like people just cut on the lights or you put on HD glasses and suddenly everything is clear. Some people call it the Christmas tree effect where you just kind of light up. And then there's a secondary stage that happens a little bit later. A lot of people feel that alpha stage inside of an hour. Everybody's different. Some people, I felt it inside of an hour. So I'll speak firsthand as I go through these examples. The next stage is the beta stage. A lot of people describe this as feeling like you're in the zone. If you're an athlete or a business person or somebody who's been involved in any kind of big challenge, you know that there are moments in time where everything seems to go your way. There's a whole body of science around this called being in a flow state. There's some bestseller books out there, like Stealing Fire is a great one, about how these Silicon Valley's executives and special forces like SEALs and all these all these people are spending a lot of their research trying to find out how can you get into flow state as an individual and how can you get in flow state as a team. But all of this is around this idea of being in the zone. And that's the nutrients in Brain Reimagine help you in your brain get what it needs to get in the zone. And if you've ever been in the zone, you know what I'm talking about. And if you haven't, stand by for your socks to be knocked off because it's a good feeling. And the third is this omega stage. And people describe this in a lot of different ways too, but I just call it the feel good stage. There's a mood enhancement quality to feeding your brain high quality nutrients, and you just find yourself in a better mood for longer periods of the day. Some people are in great moods all day. I find that I wake up in a great mood, which is really odd because I take the product in the morning, and the next morning when I wake up, I notice, because I'm very self-aware, that I just wake up kind of in a pretty good mood, and that just motivates me to keep that train going. So that's Brain Reimagine. It's not only is it super nootropics, we use nanotechnology. And if you're not aware what nanotechnology is, that's when you make things really, 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 really small so your body can use it up really fast. It's just trying to imagine like there's a filter and you know, some filters have really, what can fit through the filters is what comes through. But when you make the nutrients super small, then even the filters that will have really small holes in your body, right, like the blood-brain barrier and other things like that, it's just your body just uses these nutrients. That's one of the reasons why I believe people feel it so fast, and it jumps out from other products that they might take. The other thing about the product is this delivery mechanism. It comes in a little snap pack. I should have just had one for this video, but you see one right there. It's about the size of a business card. You just kind of break it in half, and the serum comes out. And people can mix it with their drink, with water, with coffee. I just drop it right in my mouth, and I get on with my day. So it's really cool. The good takeaway about this is you can just throw it in your pocket and carry it with you. And that's going to become really, really business when we really, really important when we talk about why I picked this as a side hustle, because a huge part of the side hustle success is getting people to see what the product is about. The best way to do that is to have them try it. You could literally walk around with inventory in your pocket and just give people samples and wait for them to call you back with, holy crap, what was that stuff? So when you get started as a side hustle, you're going to kind of determine how you want to get started. The big takeaway is, you know, obviously there are discounts and built in terms of the product, but what you want to pay attention to is when you get started, you get all the, you get your storefront. By that, I mean the front end of your store where people go to buy products, learn about the product. You also get your back office stuff, all that accounting, all that credit card processing, all that stuff, customer management, tracking, and all that stuff. But you also get inventory. So as a business builder, I want you to understand that that's important. So the level you decide to come in is going to determine how much inventory you have on hand from day one to get out into the marketplace. I'm going to encourage you to, the trick to this is to get as much inventory as you can afford to do when you launch your business. You know, the more inventory you get in the market, and here's why. Let me slow down and help you understand this, because a lot of people, this is counterintuitive. A lot of people think that the best way to try this business is to ease into it and kind of slowly feel it out. That's actually the hardest way to do it. Here's why. When you jump into it and you get a pack with a lot of samples and you get a bunch of samples in the marketplace, you're gonna know very quickly that you've made a good decision, because you're gonna get feedback from the market. People are gonna be asking you about the product. They're gonna talk about how good they feel. You're gonna know that you made a great decision, and you're gonna know in the back of your mind that you can make this work. When you ease into this and you don't have a lot of inventory to get out there and you're doing it really, really slow and you're kind of easing into it, then you're going to have to rely upon your own faith in yourself in this business that you can make it work. Now, I have no lack of ego, but I will be the first to tell you that that's hard to do. When you launch a business just on your faith with nothing else backing up your faith, it's going to be hard to sustain that. So my suggestion to you is start as best you can with as much that you can afford to do. Now, the next thing they're going to walk you through in the real presentation, they're going to walk you through how the whole compensation plan works and how to structure the organization. Here's the takeaway I want from you. you couldn't do this business alone, even if you wanted to, even if you're the most lone wolf there is, you still can't build it. You can't do this business alone because they split our structure up into two legs or two trees, which means when you get started and you start to build your team, some are going your left and some are going your right, right? Which means the people that came in before you, we're a few months into this now. So there are people that are already involved, that are already tearing it up. Those people keep going down to some place on their left or on their right, which means inevitably you have people that just start to fill out one side of your organization, right? So you couldn't do this business alone, even if you tried. That's important to know that, yes, this is a business. And yes, what you build it, the value of it, the reward you get from it, you have to make a lot of that happen. But there's a huge part of this business that will actually, quite honestly, just have nothing to do with you. It'll have everything to just do with timing. And we're going to talk about that in a little bit. But that's the takeaway from this slide. They're going to go over it in way more detail. We also have a lifestyle bonus that depends upon what level you're at. These are just, once you get a certain amount of success, you get a weekly bonus. But here's what the question I'd like to ask you. Our weekly bonuses start at a position called Star, and it's $125 a week. So the question I would ask you if you have a traditional job is, what would it take for you to walk into your boss and ask them for an extra $125 a week, or $250 a week, or $500 a week, or $1,250 an extra a week? With $1,250 extra, a weekly bonus, make some changes in your life. Or we max out at $2,500 in weekly bonuses. So without even going through what it takes you to qualify to get these bonuses, here's the big takeaway, and I'm going to just cut through the chase. In all levels, from Star, All-Star, Rockstar, Superstar, and V-Star, it requires nobody's permission, which means when you look at the little chart and it tells you what you have to do to qualify for that 125 or that 250, that 500, you can just go to work and make that happen and get it. You don't have to sit in nobody's office. You don't have to convince anybody that you're worthy of it. What I love about this industry and these type of compensation plans is you can create the paycheck you want without permission. And for a lot of people that have spent any time in corporate America, you will come to despise this thing called permission, when you have to ask somebody to move up, or you have to ask somebody for a chance at this, or you have to ask somebody. This is a permission-free zone. That should fire some of you go-getters up. The other thing I want to talk about is, and they'll go into it in detail, but a lot of times what you need to understand is that the math behind our compensation plan, a lot of people want to know, well, how fundamentally sound is this compensation plan? So there's no such thing as unlimited everything, right? There are limits to what math will say is possible to get paid out. So if by chance you want to know that, I get this question all the time, but I don't know why, because to me it's an impractical question. But the math of our compensation plan maxes out at a weekly bonus of $120,000 a week. Now, very few people, I hate to bust your bubble, but very few people are going to have the time, the effort, the energy, the discipline, the mechanism, the magic, if you will, to make that happen. There will be a few for sure, but everybody won't. But here's my question to you. What if you just start moving that decimal over, break it down by 100, break it down by 100, break it down by 100? I mean, would it bother you if you didn't make $120,000 in a weekly bonus, but you only made that, what was the weekly bonus, entry-level weekly bonus of $125 a week? I guess my point is this. A lot of times people get bogged down in the top of the plan. They get bogged down in understanding how all that stuff works. Here's what I suggest you do. Get started, get going, get a team in place, and make a check. And then learn, okay, what's the next step I need to take to get to the next level? Then hit that level. Then say, okay, what's the next thing I need to do to get to the next level? And then do that step and hit that level. If you keep doing that, you keep stepping up the scale, you will earn all the rewards in the whole comp plan until you decide to stop building and stop growing. So a lot of people ask me a very pointed question, which I'm going to try to ask today. Well, give you an example of what it takes to build a decent check. So I'm going to do better than that. I'm going to tell you what it takes to build a life-changing check, because the money to build a life-changing check is not as much as people think. If I were to help you make an extra 2 grand a month, for most people in this country, regardless of what income bracket they're in, whether they work hourly at McDonald's or whether they make a six-figure salary income, an extra an extra $2,000 on top of that on a monthly continual basis would be lifestyle altering for most people. It will change the schools they send their kids to, change the type of cars they might choose to drive, change their address, change how much BS they're willing to put up with their job. It changes a lot. So let me walk you through the basic structure required to kind of hit that level of income. So now we're going to go back. Remember, two sides to your team, right? You're going to bring in one person on your left. You're going to bring in one person on your right. Let me show you how simple it is and what I mean by step by step by step. The first thing you need to do is activate. Get in, get enough, as much product as you can to get samples to the people in your local environment as you can, so you can see their feedback and build your belief that, oh my gosh, this is going to work. You're going to get jacked out of your mind. Okay, now you got one, and then go out and get two people that you want to have on your team. One's going to be on your left, and put one on your right. You got one on your left, one on your right. Now, all you have to do is help each one of those go do the exact same thing, right? Help each one of those get started, then get one on their left and one on their right, one on their left and one on their right. If you can do that, you will have the basic building block of what it takes to maximize this comp plan. Now, from that point forward, let's just say you did that in one 30-day period. You got involved, boom, check. You got one on each side, check. You help each one of those get one on each of their sides, check. If you can do that in 1 month, if you could do that the next month, if you could do it 3 months, if you could do that in 4 months, you're going to be at about 2 grand a month in residual income. That's a structure, that's a base, that's a guide. I wanted you to understand how doable this is. Now, you take that same example, and if you did it every 60 days, it would just take you twice as long. If you did it every 90 days, it would just take you 3 times as long. If you did it every week, it would take you would do it in 25% of the time. You would do it that much faster. Some people can blast through that entire example I gave you in 30 days. So it's real, guys. So that's what's going on. Remember, I talked about timing. Really quick, the takeaway on timing is that this is going to happen with or without you. It was going to happen with or without me. I decided to make room on my plate for a side hustle. The global expansion of nootropics going around the world is going to be a multi-billion-dollar enterprise. Product timing is dead on. We talked about that. And you got this company, you found this company when it's got its first product. Company's going to have multiple products. And we're only about 7 weeks old. I think I lose track how long it's been. It's moving so fast, but I know we're in 3 countries, US, Canada, Japan, and Mexico, 4 now. That's how fast we're moving. Opportunity means there's the opportunity timing. The vast majority of people, the overwhelming majority of people that will come across this information and you will not be able to stop them from getting started, have not heard about it yet. So if you get in before them, you shift the odds of some of that army of people ending up in your organization because of that 2-tree thing I told you about. Personal timing. Here's what I can tell you about personal timing. Most people think that personal timing has to do something with the calendar or the clock or the watch or their life. It doesn't. It has everything to do with, are you unhappy enough about something in your life to take a demonstrative action to make a change? I'm not going to even try to convince you that a secondary source of residual income would be powerful in your family. I'm not going to even try to convince you of that because I know that I can't. But what I do know that I can do is, if you ask yourself this question, this is a better question. Look around at the top 3 challenges you're dealing with today, whatever they might be. Keep them to yourself. whatever your top 3 challenges might be, and ask yourself, would more free personal time to deal with that or more personal financial power to apply to any of those things, would it help you with any of your top 3 most challenging things you have on your plate right now? If the answer is yes, then my answer is, what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? Okay, so I'm going to wrap this up. Remember, this was just a hack. I invite you here. Okay, if you did what I invited you to do and you wrote down the word love it, here's what I want you to do with that word. I want you to write down love it and then add 123. So loveit123.com. I want you to go to loveit123.com and watch. First of all, there's a 2-minute video on the product. Watch that first. If that's not exciting to you, or that's not appealing, or you as a business-minded person don't think that's something that you can leverage into a great opportunity, not for you. And that's okay. It's going to take you 2 minutes of your time. If it is, I want you to collect you have an option from 2 great sources, way better than me, that's going to actually walk you through a detailed explanation of Velavita and the opportunity and all that stuff. A real presentation. I invite you to do that. Now, if you do that and you think this is for you, then I'm here to tell you this, and I want to wrap it up with this. Your success in business, because it's not just this business, but your success, especially in a side hustle where you have limited time and limited amount of energy and effort and resources you can apply to doing this. You got to fit this in where you can get it in, fit it in where you can get it in, right? And that's what I'm doing. But I'm going to build an empire. And I invite you. But here's the thing. Your success in this business will have nothing to do with you. Don't take this the wrong way. What I mean by that is nothing to do with what you think it will have to do with about you, your personality, your willingness to be outgoing, your background, your education, your personal network, how much money you have. It has nothing to do with any of that. Your success in this business will be dependent upon how much you're willing to use a systematic approach that we will teach you in building this business. That's it. Systems build the business, not you, but you need to drive the systems. You need to be consistent. And the rate at which you grow will be determined upon how much time you can eke out in your day to do the handful of things we're going to ask you to do to make the system work for you. Now, I say all that to say this. If after you watch the real presentation, you know this is for you, I'm looking for a handful of leaders to be the leaders to help me build a massive multinational empire. I've done it before, I'm going to do it again, and I'm going to do it part-time. And chances are the leaders of my team will probably hit the compensation plan, top of the compensation plan before I do, because I'm so busy. I have multiple businesses to run, traditional businesses. I tend to find people that have a little bit more time than me. That means you can probably grow faster than me, make more money than me faster, but I will catch up. It's all good. But if you know that you want to do this, if you know, or you have more questions, or you just want to be a part of my side hustle, because it's going to work, it's going to be fun. We're going to change so many people's lives around this world. It's the perfect time to be getting involved. Then I want you to go back to the word love it. And I want you to now go to love it, L-O-V-I-T, L-O-V-I-T, challenge, loveitchallenge.com. If you go to loveitchallenge.com, that will give you access to my calendar. Pick a day, pick a time. Let's chat about it. Let's chat about it. Let's get you started so we can get you trained up and running and get these systems rolling for you. These systems, we're rolling out some of the best systems I've ever seen. And there's no such thing as autopilot, but as close as you're going to get to it. You just need to be disciplined and coachable and just do the ABCs that we say. And it's going to, and we have every confidence that's going to work beyond the degree you think it's going to work. So anyway, that's my hack. Hopefully it gave you some things to think about. If for nothing else, now when you go through the real presentation, you can ask yourself, oh yeah. You can remember my little takeaways of what that meant to me, and you can see what does it mean to you. All right, I look forward to talking to some of you guys soon. Let's go do this. All right. It's a wrap.